Good day everyone, my name is Charles Rosado, and today we're going to be going over some tutorials on how to prepare for a pediatric Pfizer. First, you need to make sure you're identifying the right vial. If you see an orange top with orange stripes, chances are that's a pediatric Pfizer. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the top from the vial. We'll alcohol the top to kill any possible contaminants. And while that is air drying, we're going to go over here, get a vial of saline, and just like the vial, we're going to alcohol the top. With a 3 ml syringe, you're going to stab right through the top of the saline vial, and we're going to take approximately 1.3 cc's of sodium chloride. Now, it is okay to drain the entire vial to make it easy on you. What I like to do in this situation is just to kind of flick the syringe enough so that all bubbles travel to the top. This way, when we get our 1.3 of saline, once we get that 1.3, we're going to go ahead and just stab right through the pediatric vial. Keep in mind, as you're injecting the solution into the vial, you're going to also be adding in some pressure. For example, right now it is aspirating on itself. Let nature take its course, and when it stops, you can pull back 3 more lines, or in this case 0.3 cc's more, to take out the remaining air that is remaining in the vial. Doing this will ensure that pressure won't be released whenever you stab the vial per needle to withdraw vaccine into the syringe. All right, and now that we've managed to add the solution to the vial, we're gonna go ahead and invert 10 times. So something similar to this. And once 10 inverts have been performed, you can go ahead and start alcoholing the top once again. Now for pediatric Pfizers, we're going to pull at least 0.2 cc's of the vaccine. One of my habits is just to pull more than what's required, just so that you get more than enough, and to also get rid of any possible bubbles that form inside the syringe. And once you've ensured that no bubbles are in there, we can go ahead and push up until we've reached our requirement, in this case the 0.2 cc's. Once you confirm that you've pulled the 2, we're going to go ahead and just scoop, close it up, and you're pretty much set. We're also going to be going over Johnson & Johnson vaccines. This vaccine is pretty much straightforward. All you have to really do is first, when you've located your vial, which is going to be a light blue with some other blue on the sticker, going to remove the top and alcohol to kill any contaminants. And for this one, much like Moderna, we're going to pull 0.5 mLs. So once the alcohol has been air dried, we'll go ahead and stab right through, and we're going to pull until we reach 0.5. If you want to pull a little more, that's fine too. This way you can get rid of all bubbles and get a better accurate reading. Once you've pulled your 0.5 mLs, you're ready to go. All right, now we're going to go over Moderna boosters. Moderna boosters is a little bit, it's not complicated, but you just want to make sure that you're very accurate, because depending on the syringe, it could alter what you're pulling. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Now, just make sure when you get your Moderna, we're going to alcohol the top to kill all possible contaminants. And now for Moderna boosters, we're going to be pulling half of what we would pull for the full dose. So if we're going to be pulling 0.5 for full dose, you're going to be pulling 0.25 for the boosters. Once this has been air dry, we'll go ahead and stab right through the vial. We'll go ahead and pull. Now, I recommend if you're going to be pulling Moderna boosters, it's better to use a 1 ml compared to a 3 ml, mainly because of the line. When I mentioned earlier about what to use, this is what I was talking about. If I were to use a 3 ml syringe, it's very hard to distinguish if I pulled at 0.25 or not. Now, I could use my imagination and go just below the second line in between to the third line. That would be your 0.25, assuming that you're using a 3 ml. But I, again, recommend that you just use the 1 ml because it has basically every number from 0.1, 2, 3, and so on. You can get a better measurement that way. It's much more effective and accurate. Also, with this 1 ml, you actually are able to see the line very clearly because it sticks halfway out compared to the full number ml numbers. All right, and once you've pulled your 0.25, you are ready to go. All right, folks, now we're going to be going over adult Pfizers and how to prep that. So make sure when you're finding your Pfizer that is a purple top with a purple stripe on the vial. And once you've located that, we're going to go ahead and alcohol the top, of course after removing the top, so we can kill all possible contaminants. All right, and once that's been alcoholed, we're going to go ahead and draw at least 1.8 of saline. One of my habits is to draw out the entire vial, so this way it's a lot easier for a multitude of reasons. One, to remove any and all possible bubbles that's in the syringe, and secondly, to get an exact measurement. Sometimes you'll have bubbles that are very persistent, don't want to leave anywhere. So in this case, you may have to kind of keep pulling back until the bubbles eventually get sucked to the top. These bubbles are almost as stubborn as I was when I was a kid. Bear with me, folks. All right. Now that we got 1.8 of our saline, we're going to go ahead and inject that into the Pfizer vial. Keep in mind, as you're adding solution to the vial, you're also going to be adding pressure. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because once you've added all your solution, a lot of times it's going to aspirate on its own. When this happens, just go ahead and let nature take its course. Pull back at least 3 more lines, or at least in this case, 0.3 cc's more, and just pull straight out. The reason for this is so that once you remove all pressure from the vial, you won't have to worry about any of the vaccines being wasted when you go to stab through for each syringe. Now that I've added the saline, we're going to go ahead and just invert 10 times. And to make sure that you also alcohol the top once again, before withdrawing the vaccine from the vial. Once the alcohol has been air dried from the top of the vial, you can go ahead and stab right through, and we're going to pull 0.3 cc's of adult Pfizer. You can always pull more than what's required just so that we can get all those bubbles out the way to get a better measurement. Unless, of course, you've been doing this for years, and I'll leave you alone. Otherwise, it's a good, effective way to make sure you don't have any bubbles inside a syringe. And that's pretty much it. We're going to be going over Moderna vaccines today. Now, Moderna vaccines are a little bit simple in my case, mainly because of two things. One, once you grab the Moderna vial, this big boy right here, all we're going to be doing is swirling it 10 times. Something like this. And once you swirl that 10 times, we're going to go ahead and alcohol the top to kill all possible contaminants. And for this one, we're going to be doing full dose of Moderna. Full dose of Moderna is only compatible to first and second doses and third doses for immune-compromised patients. Now, once this has been air dried, we're going to go ahead and take at least a 1 ml or 3 ml syringe. Stab right through, and we're going to pull 0.5. Now, this right here is a 3 ml, so we definitely want to make sure that it's on the 1/2 mark. All right, and once you pull that 0.5 or 0.5 ml, you're pretty much ready to go.